I don't want to alarm anybody, but there appears to be a large yellow glowing ball in the sky. From memory, I think we may have seen it before, but it's been so long, I'm really not sure. But I like it. Hi, welcome to the greenhouse at home. The weather, man, the weather, it has been such a great January and February, and I haven't really done any gardening at all in that period, but I've been doing some behind the scenes work, and so I want to catch you up on where we're at the moment. Last time I told you that I was going to plant up the old wheelbarrow with herbs, make a herb garden. So I went to my local garden centre and I bought a few. These are them. I am going to need more than this, I think. But this one, I bought it. It's a blackcurrant sage. And this one's actually going to go in the borders at home. I bought it, then looked at the size that it gets to and realised it's going to get to 1.2 metres. Probably not going to be right for the wheelbarrow planter, but we have some others. So I've got hot and spicy oregano, I've got winter savoury, and then I've got a couple of smaller varieties of thyme. This is creeping red thyme, and I've got thyme foxley. Now I am going to get a lemon thyme as well because I really like lemon thyme, but I haven't got one of those yet. And then I've got chamomile because I thought that would look really nice with some nice flowers on it. And I picked up a rosemary, but this one is trailing, so I thought this would look really nice trailing down the side of the wheelbarrow. So they look pretty good anyway. They've been out here for about a week. It's about a week since I went and picked those up. But the reason I went to the garden centre is because every year some of my local garden centres sell, they usually do 3 for a tenner on perennials. Well, they're not 3 for a tenner now, but they are 6 for 20. So kind of the same, but you do need to buy 6. So I've bought a few different plants. We're going to be working on the cottage garden in a few weeks, particularly the front garden, because last year it was so dry that it didn't really grow how I wanted it to grow because it was so dry. And we have a big copper beech tree on the pavement outside our house that hangs over our front garden, and I love it, but it does, the canopy does stop the end of our garden from getting much water, and I'm sure the roots are under there as well. So we need to rethink this year. We need to make more preparation, and I'm probably going to be putting a lot more effort into mulching it to help keep the moisture in, and then we'll probably get the wettest summer on record. Then you can thank me for that if that happens. So the first things I got 6 of the plants. There wasn't a massive variety, but I think it's probably going to come in a little bit more, so maybe if in a week or so I go back and try again and see what else we can get. So I got 2 achilles. Now I really love achilles, but I've never grown these 2 varieties before. I've got cloth of gold. This one will get to about 90 centimetres, and this one is terracotta, and this will get to about 1.5 meters. So we're going to need to support this one, because that's the problem with achilles, I find. They grow very, very tall, and then you get some rain and they just flop. And so I'm going to support those. But also I do believe achilles are one of the plants that you can do the Chelsea chop on. So I might try that. I keep threatening to do that and then not actually having the... No, I really want to see the flowers earlier, but this year maybe we'll do it. Then I got a couple of salvias because I love salvias. If you're a regular viewer, you'll know I love salvias. And this one is Schneehugel. Now I do believe I've already got this one. I believe I got this last year, but it's a white salvia, as you can see. And yeah, these are from British Garden Centres, and it looks really nice. So I've got 2 of those, and then I got 2 more salvias. This one is one I haven't had before, and this is Salmon Dance. Now this looks like your woody varieties like Hot Lips or Nachtlinde. Icing Sugar, I believe, is one I've had before, but this looked really nice, so I got 2 of these as well. So that's what I've got. If you can hear somebody in the background throwing buckets around, it's my youngest. She's having a whale of a time. Everybody's enjoying the sunshine. We've just been out for a drive. Our youngest is autistic, and when it's not school, she insists we go for a drive every day. And we went, and the amount of people walking you can see everybody's just so happy to see the sun, and there's no sun forecast for the next 10 days again, so we're going back in. In fact, the sky's clouded over now, but it's still bright, so that's something at least. So I think that's everything I've got in here. One thing I did do is the other day is I soaked my gooseberries with a view to planting them, but then didn't plant them. So I've just put compost in here with them and sort of healed them in, if you like. So that's one thing I've done in here. Now I've also decided that this year I'm going to extend the sort of cottage garden in the back garden a little bit by creating a little display of pots. Now we did decide last year to reduce a lot of our pots to give our kids more room to run around and play, because it is quite a small garden. It's only 56 square meters, but I've changed my mind again. I want more flowers, so I'm going to do kind of like a cottage garden display, and I'll show you where that's going to go. So this is how the garden currently looks, and there's a lot of things that need cutting back, obviously not doing that just yet, but I would like to extend the garden along here. You can see I've got some pots, so we've got, that's Bring Me Sunshine, that's a David Austin rose, and then this is Open Arms Patio Climber. It's not the full rambling, it's just a smaller version. And then I bought these recently. These are Ceanothus, California lilacs, standard ones. I got these from Garden. They're actually pretty nice. They've come in reasonably good condition, well, very good condition actually. They'll take a while to grow, but they are evergreen, and I'm undecided on where I'm going to put them yet. I just saw them and it was a kind of, you know, ooh, I like those. Then we've got this Acer. I forget the names of my Acers, and I've got another Acer here. And then we've got a couple of jasmines in pots. Despite how that looks, it is very much alive, but I've had it for about 2-3 years now, and I've never planted it out. Okay, hello. So this is the area where we're going to be creating a cottage garden. Now I do have quite a few different sized terracotta pots, so hopefully that'll make a nice little selection there. So if you've got some ideas of plants that will go nicely in containers, some of these roses will go in the ground this year. I think Bring Me Sunshine's going to go in. That was planted for Mark's grandma, who passed away a couple of years ago now, but I think she's ready to go in the ground really. The soil's sort of dropping, and I think it'll be better. There's some changes that are going to be made to the garden here, like that Salvia Armistead is going to be moved and put in the front garden, and I might plant Open Arms there and put some kind of trellis up to allow that to grow up. I'd also like to get the jasmines in the ground. They are Jasminium Stephanies. This is the other one, which is also a lot more alive than it looks, and they are quite big. They do grow to 5 meters, so yeah. I mean, it's weedy, but it's kind of looking how I'd expect for February. But there, look at it, sunshine. Now I don't know what the weather's been like where you are in the world, but here in Yorkshire it has been just grey for 6 weeks. All this year it has been grey and cold and windy and rainy, a bit sleety, a bit haily and a bit snowy. But we haven't had any snow really settle here. Other parts of the UK have, but we haven't here in West Yorkshire. But this is just your reminder and mine that spring is just around the corner, and soon we are going to see nature erupting in our gardens. We're going to see those insects coming back, we're going to see the birds, we're going to see the flowers, and it's going to be glorious again. Now, I thought we'd take a look back at the work we did in the garden a couple of years ago. Now, if you do want to see this in more detail, I will put a link down below in the description box of the video that we did, the full video on this process. Now, Mark very kindly dug up extra grass, and I went to town in my local garden centres, and I had a lot of fun buying and planting out a lot of these new plants, and they did really well 2 years ago because we had a much higher amount of rainfall. But last year things didn't thrive, and I'm going to view that as a positive, because actually it's shown me what things will do well in different conditions and what won't. And some of the things that did do well in the garden were things like hardy geraniums, salvias, Shasta daisies. We had scabious, geums, phlox, the small creeping phlox types, not the big tall phlox, they did not do very well at all. Now, a lot of plants escaped the slug damage that they'd normally get because of how dry it was, and that's a benefit. But we were putting a hosepipe ban here in Yorkshire, and it just meant that although I could go out with a watering can and water, and I did for certain plants like my David Austin roses, it really wasn't enough, and things didn't thrive. The roses particularly did not thrive. My penstemons didn't do brilliantly. You know, and my little dahlias that I'd planted were not very happy. My echinaceas did come back last year, which was the first time ever, which was brilliant. And my bedding geraniums or pelargoniums did really well as well last year. So this year I'm going to be editing the garden, and I'm going to be removing things that are maybe not very healthy, not doing so well, and I'm going to be replacing them with things like geums and hardy geraniums. And I got rid of my Erysimum Bowles Mauves the year before last because they got too woody and overgrown, and so I'm going to replace those this year because the bees love them, and I am here to feed the bees. So yes, I was very happy with that. Now back to today, and one of the jobs I've been putting off because it's been raining is removing the old leaves on the hellebore. Now this hellebore is my only hellebore because it's the only one that came back after I planted some a couple of years ago. And this one is absolutely lovely. I'll put the description down below because I can't quite remember what it is. Something to do with a woman called Anna. So it's a lovely hellebore. Highly recommend it. And it has come back for about 3 years now. This might even be its 4th year. I did miss a leaf at the back. That is really annoying me that I missed a leaf at the back. But I'll get it tomorrow. Now, very kindly, my dad and stepmum dropped off a hellebore for me. They went and bought some the other week, and they dropped one off for me, and so I'm finally getting around to planting that out, and it's this one, and it's really, really lovely. It's called Days of Joy, and I hope it survives and comes back next year. And I hope that you will come back next time. Thank you so much for being with me this week. I'm going to be doing more cottage garden videos this year than I have previously, and I hope you'll enjoy them. But next time I will be back at the allotment getting those spring jobs done, so I hope you'll join me then. Give us a thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.